I just got some new information from the Osceola County Corrections in Florida. That's where Stephan Sterns is cooling his heels in jail until he can stand trial and face the music for what he did to his girlfriend's 13-year-old daughter, Madeline Soto. I just received Stephan Sterns' jail call log. I requested it for a specific time period, and I learned that from April 23rd through June 16th, 2024, Sterns called at least 5 different numbers. According to the jail peeps down there, Sterns has had no visitation in the time frame that I requested, which is a pretty recent time frame. So I'm assuming that means no video visits and no in-person visits. People don't want to be caught on camera, I guess, with Sterns. I did learn that Sterns called at least 5 numbers during that time period. 2 of those numbers belong to his father, Chris Sterns. 1 of the numbers belongs to his mom. The 4th number looks like it was just a misdial. And the 5th number is the big mystery number. It's the person he's been talking to the most. Sterns has had at least 22 different phone conversations from this time period, and the bulk of them are with this mystery number. Now let's hope we'll get to listen to those calls pretty soon. But before we get to that, I want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Now, if you guys follow me all over YouTube, you may have been following my new healthy eating plan. I'm prioritizing protein, and I'm using all the methods available to me to get good food in my body, stay healthy, be able to make these videos for you guys. So today, I've finally signed up for America's #1 meal kit. I went through and ordered my first boxes. And I love that you can select the different meals based on prep time. You guys know I'm not that big of a cook. I like the fact that all the ingredients come along in the box. And they make it less intimidating by showing you which meals might take only 15 minutes to prep. Plus, I love that I don't have to go to the grocery store, go figure out the foods, the ingredients, have all these leftovers. If it's just a meal that I want to eat or one other member of my family might want to try. I notice when ordering HelloFresh even has breakfast options. And since I'm prioritizing protein in my healthy eating journey, I like that you can see all the nutrition facts and the grams of protein in each meal. I love that they have versatile cooking options, and some of them you can cook right on the stovetop, which is really important to me. It sounds weird because our oven is actually broken. It's been broken for years. That's how much of a non-cook I am. So they have all these options where I can cook it on the stovetop, or I can even broil stuff because the heating element under there still works. My first delivery, my first box is coming up this Friday. For example, I chose meat and veggies options and meals that are ready under 20 minutes. I saw different options like with chicken and salad, salmon with dill cream, and all these different really good looking meals. So I don't even have to worry if I'm not at home when the boxes arrive, because the boxes keep the meals fresh for 24 hours. So I like the fact that we can skip the grocery store and just spend some time, much needed, soaking up the summer sun away from all the worries of the world, and at least have dinner taken care of. So it's this one-stop shop. You just get on there and order. You can have all your mealtime needs met with quick breakfast, lunches, dinners, desserts, and more. And I like that you're not locked into a contract too if you want to skip a week, pause it, or cancel your account at any time before your weekly cutoff to stop your next order. Support my channel by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code right here and subscribing to HelloFresh. So every purchase helps me create more awesome content like this for you guys. Also, why go out when we can stay in and get free appetizers for life when we sign up today? HelloFresh delivers fresh, quality produce from the farm to your door in less than a week, so you can savor summer flavors right from home. So click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free appetizers for life. 1 appetizer item per box, while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Now, back to old Stephan Sterns. I think we might possibly be able to hopefully listen to Stephan Sterns' jail calls coming up. Who knows? By the time you watch this video, maybe they'll be on the way. We've already paid for them. You know, the YouTuber named The Docket. He requested them. He paid for them. I gave him money too. And so it's a little confusing. Initially, Osceola told me, please note that jail call audio and video visits are not public record and require a subpoena before I can release them. That's Osceola. But then I wrote back, according to the attached response to notice of discovery by Danielle Marie Pinell, Assistant State Attorney, Florida Bar Number blah blah blah, she wrote, please be advised that the Orange and Osceola County jails record all phone calls and have the capability of recording all video visitations. All recorded conversations that the defendant has during phone calls and video visitations while incarcerated at the Orange and Osceola County jails are public records and are available through a public records request through the county jail. And they gave the Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure 3.220 B1C. So therefore I made a request for his jail calls and his video visits from his first date of incarceration to the present. But as of this filming, I have not received any yet. But maybe we'll be talking about it soon because there was a Notice of Provision Discovery e-filed on July 16, 2024. That's in Stephan Sterns' case file. It says, comes now the state of Florida by and through the undersigned Assistant State Attorney gives notice that copies of the below listed were mailed on July 16, 2024. And guess what it says? Copy of digital media number 7, 1 DVD containing jail calls from May 20th through July 1st, 2024. So what's a sneak peek of what we might be able to get? I'm telling you, this FOIAing and public records request business can be time consuming. It can be costly, as I'm learning. I mean, I was off getting something notarized today to send to Colorado. It can be confusing, just from what I read you right there. So that's why I don't want to promise that we'll hear the calls, but I'm hoping we will. The docket was sent an invoice. We paid the invoice. We're assuming it might contain the jail calls. Maybe it'll contain something else from discovery. Who knows? Again, like I say, we just pay and see what we get. But as a sneak preview, this jail log sent to me featured Stephan Sterns calling area code 941 numbers. That's in the west central coastal region of Florida. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you the phone numbers. I'm not going to dox anyone, but I will tell you the first number. It was called on April 23rd, 2024, around 6:41 p.m. I figured out this 7-minute call, it belongs to Chris Sterns. It's his dad's cell phone number. They only talk 7 minutes, April 23rd. I don't know if we'll get that one because that doesn't fall within the May 20th through July 1st time frame. Now, the second number is the big one, the big mystery number that I couldn't figure out. Also a 941 number. I saw a weird name attached to it, which I don't even think is real, but I'm not going to say. There's many calls to this number from May 13th to June 16th and perhaps beyond. Mostly this number, speaking at max 15 minutes, many times. If you just look down the log here like I will, this number, Sterns is calling, starting here May 13th, around 2 p.m. He speaks for 13 minutes. Again on May 13th, 2:35 p.m. He speaks for another 15 minutes. May 17th at 8:29 p.m. He speaks for 15 minutes. I mean, he calls this number again and again. May 17th, 9:01 p.m. for 15 minutes, their max. So this person, whoever Sterns is having a conversation with, and we'll discuss who I think it might be, he's having relatively late night conversations with this person. May 17th, 9:34 p.m., 15 minutes. May 18th, 7:42 p.m. for 15 minutes. I mean, it goes on and on. May 18th, it's like sometimes the very next day, sometimes calls the same day. May 18th, 8:13 p.m. He spoke with them for 15 minutes. May 18th, again, 8:44 p.m. Spoke with them for 15 minutes. It's almost like back-to-back calls here. And that number is listed again with like 00 minutes. Maybe he's just trying to call. And there's all these excuses they list at the end type for this call. Time limit, no call, called party, hang up, station, hang up, pre-answer, hang up. So some of them don't connect. Some of them are the full max time. Some of them are just calls talking. 8:10 p.m. on May 26th, again for 15 minutes. This particular phone number is one that appears over and over. So of course I wanted to find out, who does this number belong to? I Googled it, but yeah, found mention of some weird name. I even paid for a background report on that number, but there was no name readily attached to that number. They were saying maybe it's a potential spam number. Maybe it's some kind of voice over internet protocol number. It is possible this caller is using common tactics to hide their identity. These numbers might not be associated with a specific location, but I did get a location because I actually called this number. It could be a new or temporary number. It could be a spoof number, but I don't think so because of the location. This is leading me to believe it could possibly be Jennifer Soto on a burner phone. I don't know if I'm going too far here. I can't verify who belongs to this number. So I thought, you know what? Let me call it. Let me call the number. Maybe someone will pick up. What will they say? What will I say? Oh boy, it was scary.
Hi, you've reached 1941. Please leave your message after the tone.
But what I got was kind of a standard, not really computerized, but just a woman saying, hi, you've reached this number, leave your name at the tone. Just the standard voicemail greeting. Nothing where we could kind of pick up and see, oh, is that Jennifer's voice? So that made me more curious. This person, whoever it is, has taken pains to hide their identity. After I called the number, I noticed in my own call log, it gave a location of Mayaca City, a city in Florida. I've never heard of this city. I used to live in Florida, in Tallahassee. I used to know all the counties when I worked for the lottery there. I never heard of Mayaca City, and I'm probably butchering the name. It's only about a 2-hour or so drive away from that infamous apartment on Santa Maria Drive, apartment 107 in Kissimmee, where this horrible crime likely took place. So could that be Jen still talking to Stephan, or is it just another friend? Who knows? Let's talk about that a little more. Number 3 was just probably a misdialed number because it was only 1 digit off from the number Stephan calls all the time. It looks like he just added an extra 7 in there. And then number 4. That's the number that belongs to his mom because it's attributable to that poodle's place. We know his mom breeds poodles. We've been over that in the past. All the links to the podcast you'll find below, and you can go over the history of what we've learned about Stephan's parents, his mom and dad, his emails, their history, their almost divorce, and everything. But this number attributed to his mom only shows up twice on this phone list. It happened on June 15th, 2024. They spoke apparently for 15 minutes at 9:21 at night. And then again the next day, June 16th, Sterns must have spoken with his mom again for 15 minutes at 8:14 at night. Now, the 5th number is just another number for Chris Sterns, who is Stephan's dad. He must just have 2 different numbers. I couldn't find any evidence of Stephan having a brother named Chris or anything. I think he only has his dad named Chris. They spoke twice on June 16th. So this is interesting that he hasn't spoken to his parents much. Of course, we went back and forth. We read their emails. I guess he doesn't have much time to speak with them, or hopefully he's trying to save his parents some money from all those books he keeps ordering. All we see here is him speaking to his dad April 23rd within this time frame for a few minutes, 7 minutes, and then this mystery person all in between. But then he speaks again to his parents June 15th and 16th. What was going on then? Was it some kind of special day for his parents? When is their anniversary date? I'd have to look back at my own research to find out. But he spoke with his mom on June 15th and June 16th, and then he spoke with his dad twice on June 16th, 2024, first at 8:46 p.m. for only 2 minutes. What was that call about? Did he ask his dad to do something? Did someone have to hang up quickly? And then he spoke with him again 9:03 p.m. that night for the full 15 minutes. You know, a lot of things can happen. Inmates can run out of money, and it's like, oh, can you put some more money on there? Or I'll call you back, or maybe something was going on. I think he's still isolated, I guess, in the jail, so I don't know if he had to do anything different. It's funny, the docket on YouTube, he said, I was laying there thinking we might listen to these calls and hear a bunch of talk about Lacey the puppies. And I thought, you know what, you could be right, but I've been hunting down this mystery person, and part of me is wondering, is it Jennifer? And if it's Jennifer, does she have hybristophilia? It's a condition involving a sexual interest and attraction to those who commit crimes. After all, if Jennifer had any idea about what Sterns was doing to her own daughter all these years, if she kind of allowed it, and this is all only speculation, but if she did it and she was still with him and off and attracted to him, what would stop her from still talking to him after he goes to jail for being arrested for committing those crimes? Part of me is wondering, boy, who is this person? Whoever it is, maybe it's just a friend who knows that Stephan needs a listening ear. People in jail just need someone to talk to. Or could it be a spiritual advisor? I have no idea. What are we going to hear? Now, some inmates are hyper aware of what is being said over these calls, how it will affect their case. I'm sure Sterns, he paints himself as a smart man. And even when his mom said in that email recently that we went over, she said, basically throw Jen under the bus. Now, of course it was redacted. We don't know who she was talking about. But if Sterns' mom was talking about Jen Soto, she was encouraging Sterns to not take all the blame for this and throw her under the bus. And it hurts us too when you do that, when you protect others. And basically it was speak up, spill the beans, throw her under the bus. Well, as we went over, Sterns did not reply to that. I didn't see him address that at all. He didn't say, Mom, shut up. Stop talking about the case. Stop talking about whomever. So we don't know how he responded. He's probably hyper aware, just like his dad asked from the beginning emails. I'm assuming all this stuff is basically public information too. So what will we hear if and when we hear these calls with Sterns' little voice? Will it just be a bunch of talk about puppies and Tamagotchis and Warhammer and all that stuff? Will he be directing his parents on what to buy him, what to give him? Or will they slip up? Will we hear some stuff? I mean, he's talked to this person quite a bit, this mystery person, and I want to know who the person is. I have a feeling more information is coming really soon. Now, I just checked the court websites again. Thank the Holy Spirit for telling me. Now, on July 17th, 2024, there was some stipulated protective order to provide confidential and or exempt public records, laboratory DNA file, bench notes, and analytical electronic data. There's going to be a lot to this case. Obviously, there's a lot that's going to be exempt from public records because of the nature of the case, stuff we don't want to see anyway. We know Sterns has a status hearing for October 14th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in courtroom 4F before Judge Keith Karsten. But I have a feeling maybe we will hear his voice before then. God, I hope so, in Jesus' name. And we can analyze these calls if they give us the audio, hear what he talks about. And wouldn't it be a trip if we do hear Jennifer Soto's voice pop up? Who else could he be talking to so often? Maybe it's someone we don't even know. Is it a male or a female? My gut is telling me it's probably a female. And maybe it's someone who they're taking pains to hide their identity in terms of their phone number. Maybe they're assuming their phone calls won't get out, or maybe it's just light banter with Stephan. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what these calls contain and who really is sticking by him. It would be very weird if it is Jennifer, but I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, we'll know her voice is pretty distinctive. I wouldn't put it past her to keep talking to Sterns, even if she's often hiding somewhere. I don't know if she's really in a mental facility or not. If she is, I don't know if she'd be able to talk to an inmate. It has to be someone who has the money for calls. Well, maybe not. Maybe his parents are funding his calls. We've seen other cases where women will stick by certain men and make all kinds of excuses for their behavior. I'm closely following a different case where that is the case. A guy who was married to a popular radio show co-host, and turns out the jail calls revealed he had a mistress, and that mistress was the one who would go visit him in prison and even keep speaking to him over jail calls to this day. This isn't Sterns, this is a different case. We know Sterns isn't married, but it's an interesting psychology to see someone sticking with someone in that regard and expressing their love for them and making all kinds of excuses for why they're in there. Oh, it must have been a setup. Oh, they're after you, blah, blah, blah. So I can't wait to hear Sterns' calls and see what they reveal. Let's close with Luke 8:35. They came to Jesus and found the man from whom the demons had gone out, sitting at Jesus' feet, clothed and in his right mind, mentally healthy, and they were frightened. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check the links below again. Thank you so much for always sticking with me, and we will see what this next batch of discovery brings us, inching every day towards justice for Maddie.